Hey folks, welcome to my day one review of the Mississippi River FLW event on pools 7, 8, and 9 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. So the Mississippi River was full of, you know, there was almost everything you wanted to possibly fish out there. We had main river current, we had wing dams, we had backwater with crazy channels, sometimes shallow sloughs. Uh, Here's a quick little video showing one of my favorite little runs, a tiny little path, just a little bit bigger than the boat. Check this wild run out. I got some great footage here, some awesome frog shots, but I want to start out talking a little bit about the mental side of this crazy fishing game that we play. It's been a weird year. We're all dealing with COVID and stuff. I personally have also had a kind of a tough year on the water. Um, Going into this event, we were 4 events in. I cashed 2 small checks in 2 of the events and had 2 absolute bombs. Last place. So needless to say, my mindset wasn't great going into this. On top of that, I had a really rough practice. I think I was getting 2 keepers per day in practice. Luckily, things turned around a lot during the event. So to talk a little bit about the mental side, we spend 8 to 12, 10, 12 hours a day on the water, working our hardest, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. Sometimes we don't make great decisions. And if that kind of happens time and time again, it can really, really pile down on your psyche. And that's kind of where I was going into this event. I was struggling with my decision making. Um, Luckily, I ended up fishing a little bit freer in this event and made some adjustments, got on some fish. So it helps to boost up the confidence a little bit going into our last event on Lake Erie. So for those of you out there tournament fishing and you may be struggling, maybe you got some bad events, stick with it, stick through it, trust your gut, fish a little freer, and sometimes good things could happen during the event. My main weapon of choice during this event was the Scum Frog launch frog, thrown on a 7'5" medium heavy Halo KS2 Elite rod. This rod's actually a little bit softer than what a lot of people throw for a frog rod. If you see, we've got a little bit of bend in the tip here, and I find that important because I want to be able to load up the rod to get that extra distance. The 7.5 a little bit longer, and also of course throwing the launch frog, new from Scum Frog this year. It's got the added tungsten weight inside, the slightly upturned hooks, which are actually phenomenal, and the super soft body. So this was a great bait. But also, can't say enough about the people up in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Great people, friendly, helpful. The folks I stayed with in my Airbnb were phenomenal folks, nice. They're going to be lifelong friends. Just had an awesome time up in La Crosse. But check out my day one action and a little commentary going on. Get some good frog bites, like I said. I was happy to get out of this event with a check, and we got one more event left for the season. Stick around a couple days and I'll have the day 2 review up soon. Talk to you soon. So after a fairly miserable practice, I really had 2 spots I was excited about. This was one of them. I called it my 1 cast spot. It was a turn in the current where it hit up against a bank with a mixture of watercolor and some weeds. There was a lot of stuff going on. And in practice, I pulled like a 3-pounder off it. And then in the next 2 casts got a short and another keeper. So I was excited to get back to it. So I fished my way up to it, and that one's better. Oh, come on. First fish was short, second fish came off. And then I stuck with it for a while. fish all practice, and I just lost the keepers. Unfortunately, after that one keeper I lost, I caught about 6 or 7 fish. All were just too short. My one cast spot let me down. So my second stop of the day was a very clear water weed flat that I got a couple keeper smallies on really quick in practice. The only other spot I caught multiple fish. Unfortunately, on day one, with the wind down, it seemed like the fish weren't, smallies weren't cooperating. I picked up this nice little pike first thing. Nice pike, but the wrong guy. Oh. Pike with a lamprey on it. This stretch was full of smallies yesterday. That nice little thing. Put it in. And then a little later, got my first keeper of the day. Just a little barely 14 inch smallie, but it kept and started the day, so we were on the board. Short. Short. Oh. 14 inches on the nose. After that, I was just running places that I'd caught fish, picked up a few frogfish in practice, so I was kind of just freelance fishing. This coming up was my second keeper of the day. I actually think it came out of the same slot pile that I got one in practice, quite possibly the same fish. Took me a little off guard as I was looking for some fish that might have been on the weed line.
Come on, baby, get in there. Get up here.
So shortly after number 2, I noticed the water was coming up a bit, and I started having some fish hit my frog in some really, really shallow water. This was a good one. Unfortunately, he missed. That's 5 missed frogfish today. So with the rising water, I decided to push up into some super, super shallow stuff. I found this one little cut. This is right where I just missed the first one. It's a couple minutes later, and this water was barely a foot deep. Probably nobody had been through it in practice because the water was about 6 inches lower.
Come on, baby, be a bass. Be a bass. Come on, baby, get up here. Let's go. Come on. Come on. You
Yeah. Ooh, that's the right kind. Here I just missed one on the frog in this little opening and reached down and grabbed the first rod I saw, and it was actually a fluke on like 12-pound test that I've been throwing for smallies. Really probably shouldn't have been throwing it up here in the slop, but it paid off. With 4 fish in the boat and 4 bites in the last 10 minutes, I was starting to get excited that I might actually be able to squeak something out here. Number 4. This little cut was so shallow. I was barely getting up, fighting through some weeds, and actually got stuck a couple times making my way up there to get the push pole out. But this was the last fish I pulled out of this little cut. Oh baby, come on. Would you believe? Smallie? The smallie on the frog up in this crap. We have a limit. So, 5 fish in the boat. We made our way back towards check-in. There's about 10 minutes left just in front of the check-in boat. Had a little bit of magic happen. Good call. Get rid of that little dinky do. Needs a good upgrade. Yeah. With 10 minutes to go. Awesome call in the last 10 minutes. We ended up the day with the limit weighing 11 pounds, 5 ounces. Good enough for 61st out of 200 anglers. I was pretty happy to be where I was after a tough practice, and still a pretty tough day 1.